love lives here.
Yes, and so here at Centers for Spiritual Living Worldwide this year, 2022, we are working with the theme Living Everyday Wonder. And as Casey said, she's like, I'm loving the new theme of Everyday Wonder. And this month, we are exploring what Living Everyday Wonder is for the entire month, kind of setting us up for how we're going to continue to explore living everyday wonder in daily aspects of our lives throughout the coming year. And so starting next month, we'll be looking at 11 different areas of our lives and how we live wonder, how we live in the wonder, we live in the awe, we live in the awareness of each of those areas, and how we can apply practical tools to really enhance the wonder and to change and to transform how we might be experiencing that area of our lives. So last week you received the Wheel of Life tool that is Living Everyday Wonder Wheel of Life tool. And if you didn't get one of those, it is on our website, and it was in the email that we sent out earlier this week. And we also have copies for you in the lobby. So for those of you joining us at home or wherever you are in the world online, you can go to our website at riversidecsl.org, and we have a new feature at the top of the website there in the slider. It says Transformation Tool of the Week. So like I mentioned, that this year is full of practical tools that you can apply right here, right now, sitting here this morning, and when you leave here and throughout the week. So there are these tools that you can apply. So last week we had the Wheel of Life transformation tool that talks about the 11 different areas that we're going to be focusing on for the rest of the year. So it's an exciting year as we're moving through and as we're doing this. But this month we're talking about wonder in all of its various meanings and definitions. And we are talking and we are sharing ideas or tools that you can use regardless of which area in your life you are focusing on as we move through the year, okay? So that's where we are focused today. So today we are talking about wonder everywhere, and lots of drops to drink. So wonder everywhere. So there is a beautiful quote that I believe Jocelyn and Jared are putting up for you. There's a beautiful quote here from Angela Morgan. It says, "Oh, to be alive in such an age when miracles are everywhere and every inch of common air throbs with a tremendous prophecy of greater marvels yet to be." Throbs with tremendous prophecy of greater marvels yet to be, that we are alive in such an age when miracles are everywhere. Yeah? What a great quote. And this quote is frequently attributed to Walt Whitman, but when I was doing all the research, I was like, I can't find anywhere where Walt Whitman said it. But I did find the entire poem that is called Today by Angela Morgan. And Angela Morgan was born in the late 1800s to a father who was a Northern abolitionist and to a mother who was part African American. And so their wedding, their marriage was, as it said on the internet, scandalous at the time, right? And so she went on to become a journalist in Chicago and Boston, and she lived in London, and she wrote all kinds of poetry. And so I really wanted to bring her to you and share with you. Go look her up. Some of her poetry, all of her poetry is really beautiful, really amazing. So that's Angela Morgan. But that quote where it's like, to be alive in such an age where miracles are everywhere and each inch of common air throbs with the prophecy of greater marvels yet to be. That's really what we're talking about when we're talking about wonder everywhere. How often do we go through life just kind of on autopilot, humdrum, not really paying attention to what's going on around us? Driving here this morning, I was like, wait a minute, do I remember how I got here? I remember closing the gate at the house, and I remember coming up the stairs, but do I remember any bit of the way here between there and here? Was I on autopilot or not? And so when we think about that during our lives, so frequently we're just on this autopilot that we're really not appreciating the wonder that's everywhere. And believe me, my beloveds, the wonder is absolutely everywhere in every moment of every single day. Wonder is absolutely, we live in a wonderland, an absolute wonderland that is waiting for us to awaken to the wonders around us and the wonders within us and the wonders that are us. Just ready and willing to awaken. It's waiting for us to experience it. Because if we're not experiencing wonder, if we're not paying attention to what's happening in our everyday lives, guess what? We're missing out on the wonder of spirit. We're missing out on life itself. If we're not paying attention to our lives, we're missing out on life with a capital L. Right? Life with a capital L. I did that right for the camera too. Yeah. YMCA. No. Right? That we're missing out on the capital L. We're missing out on life if we're not paying attention to everyday wonder. So we need to begin to orient ourselves to wonder. This is an opportunity. This is one of those tools for transformation that we're talking about. So here's one of 3 today. It's jam-packed today. You better walk out of here with something. I'm just saying. All right. Allison's got her notebook ready. She's got her journal ready. She's making notes already. All right, here we go. Tool number 1. We're going to do this together. And for those of you at home, do it at home. We're going to do this together here in the sanctuary. So one of the ways that we can begin to orient ourselves to wonder, to bring our focus to wonder, is look at an everyday object. Whatever everyday object may be around you. Perhaps at home you're looking at a TV screen or a computer screen, or you're looking on your phone or what have you. Perhaps here in the sanctuary you've got a pen or a paper or a journal, or there's the tissue boxes, there's the pews, there's pens, there's all kinds of stuff, right? There's the drum kit, there's piano, there's microphones, what have you, right? So allow yourself to focus on one everyday item. Just a common item. Allow yourself just to bring your attention to that common everyday item. Now begin to ask yourself and begin to come at this item with a sense of curiosity, a sense of wonder. Like, what is this item made of? What are the materials that it's made of? Where did those materials come from? Where did the idea for this item come from? Who first thought of this item? And how did it come into being? How is it processed? How is it made? How did it come into my possession or into my environment? And what are all the things that led it to be here and, here in my possession or here in my environment? And what led me to being in this environment? And why am I using it? How am I using it? What other purposes does it have other than the one that I'm using it for right now? And then if I think about my body and what is necessary, how are the muscles in my hand or the muscles in my eyes or the muscles in my body, how are they moving? How are they interacting? What is their function as I am using this object? And what is maintaining and sustaining that function? What is the flow and the circulation that's happening in my body? What are the thought processes? What are the chemical compounds and the chemical reactions that are happening in my brain right now that are causing my muscles to do this and that? What is the idea or the inspiration, what chemical processes, what movement, what breath, what life is necessary for me to hold a pen or to watch a screen or to type. What's necessary? How does my mouth form the saliva that is necessary to lick an envelope? Right? See what happened there? See what happened there? You're just focusing on a pen or a TV screen or a computer screen or whatever it is that you're focusing on. But the more that we become curious and wonder and we ask the questions, the more we have to wonder about and experience wonder around and experience a greater, fuller, more magnificent expression of this common everyday object. And so we're using this common everyday object to tap into, to get in touch with, to really deepen our relationship with Spirit. Because what do we know? God is all there is. Spirit is all there is. The universe is the manifest body of the divine. It is the necessary and logical outcome of the self-knowingness of God. So absolutely everything, when we talk about it, absolutely everything is the divine made manifest. The smallest thing is the divine made manifest. The everyday thing is the divine made manifest. It is an expression of the divine. It is an emanation, impartation, and manifestation of the divine, of Spirit. My God. Look at how Spirit is just showing up, just like in that song. Every drop of rain, every drop of water that hits my roof, thunders and pounds out, reminds me of the countless blessings that I have been blessed with. It is opening to this everyday wonder of like, wow. And the more we experience that everyday wonder of, wow, the more we are experiencing the divine, the more we are experiencing Spirit and wonder. The more we do this, the more that we focus and our attention, as Ed said, the more we bring our attention and appreciate it, the more that it appreciates, meaning the more that it expands. So when we are orienting ourselves to wonder, my beloveds, then we are able to, it's possible then to become curious, and it's possible to wonder about ourselves, about our lives, and about our world, yeah? And then when it's possible to wonder about ourselves and about our world, then it becomes possible to wonder about other people and their world and their experiences. And when we bring this sense of wonder, then we realize that their worlds are just as vast and complex, and these individuals before us are just as vast and complex and deep as we are. And then we realize, wow, so then this person in front of me, or this thing in front of me, but we'll go with people for right now, this person in front of me is really just a part of me that I haven't met yet. They're just as complex as I am. They're just as vast as I am. They're just as rich and loving and an expression of the divine as I am. Wow. And so when we then approach it from that place of wonderment, it draws us closer to one another. It increases our ability to be empathetic. It increases our compassion. And then what we realize is that, as Valerie Kaur says, that wonder is the wellspring of love. Wonder is the wellspring of love. And love, as we know, is more than just a feeling. Love is a choice that we make every single day. We get to choose to be loving. We get to choose to be the power and the presence of love. That we get to choose how we show up. That we get to choose to be the fullest embodiment of love that we can be that day and in that moment. That we have the freedom, which is also love. We have the freedom to choose. We have the freedom to be. So love becomes a choice. And then what we also know is that love encompasses and shares relationship with all of the other emotions that we feel, all the other emotions that we experience. That joy is the gift of love. Joy is the gift of love. When we're in love and when we're experiencing love, we're experiencing joy. It's like, wow, oh, joy, bliss. And we know that grief is the price of love. That grief is an indicator of the depth of our love, because the depth that we grieve is an indicator of the depth that we've loved. That we really can truly appreciate the depth of our love when we are experiencing grief. Because if we didn't experience love, we wouldn't be able to experience grief. We wouldn't be able to experience the sadness or the loss of it. The loss of a loved one. The loss of an experience. And so we grieve and we mourn, but that too is an expression of love. It's an expression of the depth of our love that allows us to feel it more fully. And anger is that emotion that protects that which we love or that which is loved. Frequently we get angry because we love. The anger is because we love something or we love someone so much that when we see something that is not in alignment with, we get angry, we get upset, we get disturbed, and then we're called to some sort of action perhaps. This is that deeper anger. This is that righteous anger, if you will, that is a call to action. It's a call to love. It's a call to express more love in a greater, more expansive way. And then when we get to the point where, it's like, look, I have had it. I am over it. I have reached my limit. I cannot do anymore. I do not want to do anymore. There is nothing left for me to do. That's when wonder comes back in. And when we engage in the act of wondering, it returns us to love. When we engage in the act of wondering, the act of wonder, the act of being curious, the act of coming back to appreciating everything around me, everyone around me, the act of coming back to that awareness that, right, they're just as vast and complex as I am, and they're just a part of me that I have not yet met. Wow. Now I'm back to wonder, I'm back to love, I'm back being centered and grounded in the oneness. And so wonder reveals oneness. So you could even spell wonder, W-O-N. No, instead of W-O-N-D-E-R, you could spell wonder, O-N-E-D-E-R. That wonder brings us back or reveals oneness. The wonder reveals that we are interconnected with all of life, that we are interrelated with all of life, that we are one with all of life, with all of creation, that there is no separation. See, when we get to that point where we feel separated, when we forget to wonder, when we fail to wonder, we start down a path of separation. We start down a path of otherness. We start down a path that leads to abuse, of life and planet. We start down a path that leads to violence and disruption and corruption because we have failed to wonder. So we have the opportunity to return to wonder, to return to our oneness in our everyday wonder. Here at Centers for Spiritual Living, part of our vision, our overall vision is there. We envision a world that works for everyone in all of creation, yes? And part of that vision is a more expanded part of the global vision. That's more of a summary statement of our vision, but the larger vision also includes we envision all people, all beings, and all life as expressions of God. We see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with one another. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all of life. A world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects with the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. We envision a world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, love, through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics. We envision a world that works for all. And one of the ways that we can become a clearer vessel, a clearer channel, a clearer transparency for God, a clearer transparency through which this vision manifests in this plane of existence, one of the ways that we can do that is through wonder. Returning to wonder, returning to the awe and the curiosity and the beauty. There's awe-inspiring beauty everywhere. Look around you, see the people in front of you, whether they're in person or on a screen. See them for who they truly are. Recognize the oneness that truly is present. And this oneness is spoken about in ancient wisdom. Timeless wisdom. In Sanskrit, I am that, from the Sanskrit and Hindu tradition. I am that. From the South African tradition, I am because you are. From the Mayan tradition, you are my other me. From the Sikh tradition, I see no stranger. And from the Jewish and Christian tradition, I am that I am. It is the oneness that we talk about. It's the oneness that we speak about. And it is this oneness that is revealed through wonder. So here's another tool for you. Ready? Here you go. Here's number two. Tool number two. Tool number two. Tool number two. There we go. Tool number two. This week, whether you're watching, whether you're on a screen and it could be a show that you're watching or in meeting people, this week, every person that you encounter, silently say to yourself and identify them, sister, brother, sibling. Every person, just quietly identify, label them if you will, identify them. Sister, brother, sibling. And then follow it up. You are a part of me I don't yet know. You are a part of me I don't yet know. So sister, brother, sibling, you are a part of me I don't yet know. So that's practice number 2. Practice number 3, or tool number 3 for this week. Wouldn't it be amazing if every meeting we had, started with expressing gratitude, or started with sharing something that you are in awe of or wondering about, or an experience of awe in your day or your week? Wouldn't that be a great way to start a meeting? Think of how much easier meetings would flow or gatherings would flow if we started by sharing a bit of everyday wonder. And so maybe you're not in meetings. That's cool too. How about when you sit down with a friend or family member for a meal, or you call them on the phone, or however you are in contact with them? Maybe you make it a ritual at your dinner table that you gather, and instead of say, "Hi, honey, how was your day?" Right? Or whatever. Or you ask your kids, "What'd you learn in school today, honey?" Right? The answer. How about ask, it's like, what wondrous thing did you experience today? What's something wonderful that happened for you today? What is something that was awe-inspiring? What beauty did you notice today? Share with me that beauty. Share with me that. Because as we talked about, as we've said already, as Ed said, and as I've said already, when we appreciate something, it appreciates. So why not appreciate the wonder? Why not appreciate the connection with the divine? Look at how the quality, imagine the quality of the relationships you have with your beloveds and the quality of the relationships you have with people you interact with. What wondrous thing is happening for you right now? What wonder have you noticed today? Can you imagine asking this somebody at the grocery store? You know, the clerk goes, "Hey, how are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, fine. How are you?" "Oh, fine." You know, it's like, "I'm great." You know, I'm really curious. What wondrous things happened for you recently? Think of that engagement. Think of that relationship. Think of that change. Think what that might do for that person's life and your own life. Wow, I've never thought of that. That's a really great idea. You were knitting? I've never tried knitting before. Cool, let's do that. Right? It serves as inspiration, and so we can wonder and we can continue to expand our wonder. So you have 3 tools this week, yes? First one is to find an everyday object or look at an everyday object and then really get curious about it and expand that and really wonder about it and expand the wonder of that. Second is every time you see somebody or you come across a face or what have you, sister, brother, sibling, you are a part of me I don't yet know. And then finally, the opportunity to share our daily wonders with our beloveds. And if you don't have a beloved sitting with you, tell your dog, tell your cat, tell your goldfish, tell your tarantula, tell your pet rock, or write it in a journal, right? But share it, expand it, appreciate it. So there's wonder happening everywhere, every day of our lives. And when we open to the magnificence of it, when we open to the glory of it, we experience it in greater and greater ways. And we experience love made manifest in greater and greater ways. Oh, to be alive in such an age when miracles are everywhere. And every inch of common air throbs of greater marvels yet to be. And so it is. So I invite our practitioners and our core council to please stand and surround the sanctuary. And as they do, I want you to know that these beloveds are in prayer for this beloved community every day. And so they are accessible always. You can reach out to them through our website. There's a special practitioner page there. You can reach out to them through our website. And here in the sanctuary, at the center, if you would like prayer after service, you can go to the prayer room, and Dinah and Ed will be there to pray with you this afternoon, or this morning rather. Depending on where you are in the world, it could be afternoon. So there you go. All right, so let's just come together in consciousness, recognizing right here and right now that there is only one O-N-E. There's only one power, one presence, one life, one love, one infinite intelligence that is forever expressing itself through and as all of creation, that it is the self-knowingness of this one that brought forth the manifest universe, that the universe is the body of this one, that each part of creation is whole and holy, that each part of creation is absolutely necessary for the wholeness to be absolutely whole. There is no part that has been left out. There is no part that needs to be added. There is no part that needs to be subtracted. Everything is absolutely whole and holy, absolutely perfect, absolutely necessary. Therefore, that I know that I am an expression of this one life. I am an expression of this one love. I am a divine emanation, impartation, and manifestation of this one life. And as I know that this is true of me, I know that this is true of all of life, of all of creation, of everyone gathered here this day, that each one is one with the one. I am that I am. I am because you are. I am that. And you are a part of me that I don't yet know, but I know that I know that I know that there is only this one. And so I recognize here and now, and I speak my word for this beloved community, recognizing our oneness, recognizing our inherent oneness, recognizing the wonder that we live in, this wonderland that we experience, this wonderland that is available to us always as we open our eyes, that inner eye of seeing, and open our ears to the inner ear of hearing, that we open our heart space and be open and receptive to the greater expression of and magnificence and glory of this one life, this one love. That it is that we are. And so I recognize that there is wonder, there is awe, there is beauty, there is inspiration in the tiniest thing, in the most mundane thing. I recognize that the ordinary is actually extraordinary. It's extraordinary. And it is in this extraordinary ordinariness that I live, move, breathe, and have my being. And I appreciate it. And as I appreciate it, it appreciates. And so I know that this beloved community is steeped in wonder. It is open, it is curious, it is available and making itself even more available to the greater wonders, the magnificent wonders, the everyday wonders that are available to each of us as we awaken to it. So we are available to experience a greater fullness, a greater wholeness, a greater expression of divinity, a greater expression of the divine, a greater conscious union and awareness of spirit as our lives, as our being. And so I speak a word, especially this morning, for Ivan, recognizing clarity for him this morning, recognizing wholeness and perfection, that right where he is, we approach this with wonder and awe, and it is amplified. And I don't need to know how spirit makes it happen. But I do know that spirit, presence, God is right where he is in this very moment, bringing clarity, bringing wholeness, bringing greater perfection, a greater expression of perfection right now. And I know the same for Greg as well, as he continues his journey of wholeness and healing, that right where he is, the power and the presence of God is, wholeness is, perfection is, divine flow is. Because spirit is everywhere present. And I know for anyone who is holding any kind of hurt or pain, that there is comfort, that they are wrapped and comforted in love, in peace, in harmony, and joy. Because spirit withholds nothing. It is the ever-givingness of spirit that Ernest calls love. And so love is present, love is amplified, love simply is here and now. Love lives here. And so I give thanks. I give thanks this morning for all of it, for all of the wonders of life, for all of it that I'm aware of and all of it that I am yet to be aware of. You are a part of me that I don't yet know, and I can't wait to meet you. And so I release this now, knowing it is done. I release it into the law, knowing that it is absolutely perfect, knowing that wonder is in full, glorious expression, and I am awake to it. I let it be, and so it is.
Love